Hi, it's me, Pam Vanny. I thought I'd take you along with me. I'm going to make a couple little golden books, and I thought I'd just show you my process. I haven't made one in quite a while. Um, and I have an example that I'm going to show you, but I'm going to be working on the Friendly book, and then two of these little bunny books. So for my example, we'll use the Jolly Barnyard, because I'll probably do this one next. And I'm looking for another tool that I use, but I'm not seeing it, so we'll see what we can do. So the first thing I'm going to do, take your little golden book and use a heat gun. You're going to heat up the glue. Okay, so you've got your gold foil edging. And if you'd like to keep it, you could make a bookmark or something out of it. So we'll just set that aside. Okay, and then you can kind of soak the labels off, or not soak it, just wet it a little bit or just peel it off. We'll work on that later. Okay, now you've, in a little golden book, you have these two staples here and here. And I like to pry it off here, and I usually have a different tool. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'm not finding it. It was a jewelry tool, and it's the kind that cuts, snips things off, and I can kind of use it a little better, but this might work. Just going to straighten out these staples. I just have to lift it a little bit with my finger now so I can get under it. I can't quite pull that up unless I use my fingernail. Just maybe if you had a small screwdriver, you could lift that too. And then you're gonna twist it up. Take that, straighten it up. I don't really have good fingernails. Pry that up. There. Okay, that's kind of straightened up somewhat. And then we're going to see the other one was better. It twisted it up better. Because you want to get underneath this. I'm pushing the staple down so I can twist it. Twist it out. Yeah, I can find that other tool because it is easier. Okay, got that one out. And let me straighten these out a little bit and see if I can push down. I'm just going to get under here somewhat. Okay. Usually goes a little better than this, but I had that other tool and it would get underneath there better. And I do not know where that is. I'm reorganizing some things, so yeah, where does it go? Okay. I've got to find something else. Okay, my husband just stopped by and he said he used this little jackknife. This used to be my dad's to pry out some staples. So yeah, and it does come out, but I'm pretty dangerous with sharp things, so just gonna twist it out. And there we go. Ta-da! So we have that, and then we should have 2 signatures. And you just take it apart like so. And I will do the cover last. And there's different ways to do covers, so I'm going to show you the different ways. Okay, so that's taken apart, and now we're going to get our papers together, which I already have. And I have this little container that I thrifted, and it has different little compartments. It has 2 shorter here. I don't know where these came from, but yeah, thrifted them. Maybe IKEA, I don't know. 3 1/4 by about 4 1/4 or so. 2 of those, and then one that's about 6 1/2 by 4-ish. 2 of those, like that. And then you have a long, narrow one here, which is about 3 1/4 by about 8 1/2. So I'll just bring it up. So I have different things in here, like little tools. And in this compartment, I have some envelopes I'm going to use in the journal, and a little bag. I have some cutoffs in here, and paper cutoffs, and then some CD sleeves, and then different papers, lined or plain, or different papers here. So okay, so the next step will be to pick out your papers. So I do about 15 papers per signature, and there's going to be 2 signatures. So just get a variety of papers, maybe a ledger, grid, coffee dyed, lined, colored paper, coloring book paper, workbook paper, anything you want. And then, because for this one, I'm going to use the full length of this, which is 6 1/2. So I don't want my papers to be more than 6 1/4 across this way, folded. And it's about 8. And I'm going to have my pages not longer than 7 1/2. So you'll have a little, your papers will fit in nicely. And then you will need to cut your papers. So I'll just, let's see, do an example of cutting. So here's some paper. It's like lined children's paper. And I usually fold my papers first in half. And I know I don't want it to be across more than 6 1/4. So let's just check this out. I can tell it isn't going to be 6 1/4, and now I'm just switching from this cutter to a different one. So it's kind of the different way. So, you can just see that this is not going to be bigger than 6 1/4. It's, 5 1/4. So this is good to go that way. But then I don't want it longer than 7 1/2, and it's 8. So we're going to have to cut it. And let's see, do I want that to show? I think I do. So this is going to be 7 1/2. Can I pull it down farther? Let's see. Will that show it better? 7 1/2. It's just going to be a little bit off or cut. All right, this is not going to work. I don't see where my little trimming thing is. And the cutter that I really like was this big one. It's Fiskars. It's just a nice heavy-duty one. Okay, so 7 1/2. And we do have to cut it, so there's your 7 1/2. And there we go. So that one's good to go. So get your 15 papers, that you want, and then cut them to size. Then when you do your little golden book pages, these will need to be trimmed also, because this is 6 1/2 and we want 6 1/4. So just kind of check to see that you're not cutting anything off, and you do have space here, so it should be fine. So I just keep it in the signature, and I'm going to go, make sure your folded edge is over here, so you don't cut that. You just want, this edge to be cut. So 6 1/4 across, 6 1/4. And then my husband said I should go this way, like that, instead of pushing it forward that way. Just makes it a little more accurate. So yeah, you learn things, right? He was a builder, so it's probably what you do with a saw. Okay, so that's 6 1/4. And you can see nothing, words or compromised. All right, and then we need 7 1/2 going this way. And this is about 8. So I want a 1/4 off here and a 1/4 off here, because that way, I probably won't, because if I did 1/2 inch here, you're going to cut, maybe some things off. If I did a 1/2 inch here, I might cut things off. So what I'm going to do is a 1/4 off here and a 1/4 off here. And I don't want it to be complicated, but how I do it is, first, I go to 7 3/4, and I cut, and that will give me a 1/4 off this here. I flip it around to the top, and now I'm going to go 7 1/2. That will give me a 1/4 on one end and a 1/4 on another. You see? So that's a 1/4, and the other was a 1/4. And now you have 7 1/2 by 6 1/4. And then you'll do the same with this one. Okay, so put those aside, and then, like I said, cut all your other ones, about 15 pages, papers, etc. And then extras would be like envelopes, little bags. So these are in addition to your pages. sacks, whatever you want, envelopes, cards. Okay. And I think I'm going to, I was going to put these longer envelopes in, and I didn't fold it because I'm going to scan, I've done it before, I'm going to scan a print on here, just so it's not so plain. And you could keep it plain and you could decorate it, but I'm going to put it through my printer and print up a digi on at least one side, maybe both. So that's why I didn't fold these. Okay, and then I got some of my 15 pages per signature. I chose book pages, and I have 3 books, you know, that I showed you. So there's 3 book pages. Here's another book page, 3 books, and another, and a couple other book pages. So this might be a little trickier. Now, if you get something smaller, this should be fine. Yeah, because that's 5.5, and you know, it's not going to be too big, so you don't have to cut that down. That one is all ready to go. So now you say, okay, you've got these other pages. This is from a book, and you can see it's long, and it just depends on your book. But on this book page, you know, I saw that it could be folded here, and then you could put it like this in your signature, and you will have mainly this and this. And sometimes I like this edge, and if you don't, you can cut that, and then you have the writing on here. So you know it's plenty, you have plenty of room to fit within your 6 1/4 crossed. But we need it to be 7.5. Now how's that going to be? If you look at your writing, you can just get it in from here to here. Because you do the top of that writing in here, that's going to give you 7.5. So you just have to figure out, okay, then look on this side. You know, that should be fine. I mainly want to get the bunny in there. So I am going to cut what I can from here, where the words are. And you may have to go back and cut, you know, keep cutting. It's probably more than that, but I just want to see, where's that bunny? Okay, the bunny's going to be, okay. Got his foot in a trap, and the little kids are going to help the bunny. Poor bunny. Let's do the top, see where the writing is. So, oops. I'm going to pull from this way. So it's just a matter of, you know, trying it out. And the reason why I'm doing this, if you're a beginner and you don't want to do this, I just like my pages to be this way, and that's a little more advanced. If you didn't want to, you could just fold your papers like this, and it wouldn't matter. But I want them to be this way and not in the book like this. Okay, so what do we have here? Is it 7.5 now? Almost. So we can trim a little more at the bottom, and that should be fine. 7.5. We just had to do a little bit more. So this is fine, good to go in your book. Okay, so I can do that with all of these. You know, we'll have to find out where, you know, it would look best. But see, I got all the words in there. I got the rabbit. I'll do another one. Here, you also can do it this way. Like if your pages are single and they're not folded. And I know I want 6 1/4 or less, so I know that's going to work. Because you can see the words are here, but you know, so I got all the main things. Now I got to figure out my length to be 7.5, but I want to be able to get the boat and the main people in. So I can do that here, but then, you know, if I want this story, and I don't have to have that story, but let's try it, and let's cut off where the words will be. Okay, so I got the words, and then 7.5 would be about here. Right here. I think that'd be fine. I think I can cut this to 7.5. No. Let's see. 7.5 is here. And I still got the boat and everything in. I hope you follow me. Okay, so it's less than 6 1/4 across, which we needed. And it's kind of fun. It's like a little challenge. I think it's fun. 7.5 down. Okay, and then you're going to want, you know, something here. So just, and this is the right, we cut this length, and I am going to cut this piece. Oops, I went this way instead of pulling it toward me. So now we're going to make this, you know, a page, you know, like it's been folded. Now we can just glue that on. And let's just do it a minute. Or you could sew it too. Sewing's kind of fun too. We want to line this up to the page. A little better than that. Okay. And once that dry, I think I will stitch like a little zigzag. And see, now you open it up, and then you have your page together. So there's that, and I'll just do maybe one more example. Like now here, you wouldn't have to have the words, so I want 7.5 because, you know, it's part of the book, and it's not necessarily the words that you have to have. I just like the image. So if we did, and I believe it's already been cut this way, yep, so that's okay. And now lengthwise, we want 7.5. So I'm going to cut off part of this. I mainly just want the picture, the illustration. Okay, that's fine that way. And I already folded it a little bit here. And now let's go this way, 7.5. Trim that off. And that's perfect to go into the little Golden Book journal. And then we can just do the same here. Actually, we could just use the other half of this. And we could add this here. And then, like I said, I think I will, once the glue is dry, maybe stitch it just to give it a fun element. Or you could put washi tape on. Let's see if that lines up. Let's move it a little bit. Okay. There. So now you have this little page here. Isn't that cute? So, and then I have to do that with these and a couple more pages. You also could, here's some book pages that are bigger. And I folded it like you could get your scoreboard. And you know you don't want it wider then 6 1/4. So I put my page on here, and then I used my embossing tool, and I did 6 1/4 down like this, so that I would fold it. So this is going to fit within the book. And then, so you could do some of your pages like this, and then 7 1/2 is the length. So I went like that. And then I have this, but I want this frog. I want this frog. So, and if I go like that, you're not going to see it. So I think I'm going to cut it across at the 7 1/2, and I'll show you what I do. There's the 7 1/2. Okay, now look, you got a pocket and you still have your little froggy. So that will be glued in, and then you'll have your pocket. So that worked out cute. And then you just add whatever paper you want here. There's that idea. And other folding things. Okay, let's say you got your 12 by 12 and you cut it like so to your 7 1/2 here. Cut. And then you have this left over. And I thought it would be pretty to use this. I mean, you could use it either way. You could use it as a pocket like this, which is really pretty. Or you could use it like that, and you have a really cute pocket here, you know, once you glue or sew. So there's another idea with your papers. Okay, here's another one. Okay, I think I can move this huge cutter. Okay, so this was your 12 by 12, and I cut it, or I scored it at 7 1/2. There's my 12 by 12. I just want to give you different ideas of like pockets and things, or what you can do with your 12 by 12 papers. Okay, so here's your 12 by 12. And I folded it in half like I do. And this, you know, you're going to fold it in half, which will give it 6 inches. And then I took it and I scored at 7 1/2 here. So now I have this, and I fold it up, and make sure you really, you know, especially with thicker, just flatten out these edges, you know, like this, and see how much flatter it will be. Okay, and then you have this, however you want. You want it that way, and I don't like it that way because it clouds upside down. So I will take this, and you could do fun things, like you could fold this over, or I'm thinking you could fold it like this. So if you took this and you folded it over like that, just line this up, fold it, just kind of burnish it with your bone folder. And now you have a really nice secure pocket that's been doubled over. And if you wanted to, and you had the right print, you could turn it like this, and you could have pockets like this. So they're both cute. So you could go that way or this way. And there you have that example of a fold. Let's see if I have something else. Okay, what did I do here? Okay, this, you know, I folded it, cut it to at least, you know, 6 or 6 1/4, and then 7 1/2. So that's been cut. And then I took and this piece is left over. And let's see if I can do an example. Okay, well, let me just use this paper and show you what I did. So I cut it. Okay, here's your paper like this. And what did I do? I opened it up. I lined this point with the cutting, the cutting line. And the fold line here. Sorry. So you got this point here. And you got this point here, where that little fold is, see? Right there. And you might have to adjust it back and forth. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut that. Like a little diagonal. And then you could have that as a pocket. Just stick that in your journal on a page, or what did I do? Yeah, so I mean this, you could have it this way and tuck it in this way, which is kind of pretty. I'll tuck things up there. Or what you could do is glue this part here, what you cut, and yes, I got a shaky hand, like that. And it's two sides, and then, oops, line it up. Oops, I wouldn't usually be doing it on this cutting thing. All right, I didn't line that up real good. Okay, like that. And especially if you did it on a thicker paper. And then you will have a tuck here. And this can open up. And you could, journal here too. So it's just kind of fun. So this would be in the page or in the book like this. And then you'd have this tuck. And then, this would be in your book like this. And you could do something more with that too. So that's just kind of something fun, or it would be really cute on a page. And then you open it up, and then you could do something here. And then you'd have this here. Anything else that I did that might be a fun, something fun. Okay, so for the cutoffs of this was the cutoff. You can make this a belly band by cutting it thinner. I want to get these cameras. Oops. And now you can have I like to do these where it's a belly band. Here. But you can also open it this way. And, you know, if you put paper in here, then you could write here to journal. If you wanted to, you could have belly bands on both sides like this. And then if you, you know, glued it here and here, you'd have a belly band there and a belly band here. So that's some fun things to do with your cutoffs. Here is something else with a 12 by 12 paper. How much time do we have here? Oh, wow. We're kind of going long. But here I just want to, I folded it up 7.5, and I just want to cut here where I folded it like that. And then you could just turn it back like, you know, just something like this. But you know what? I think I'm going to cut it here too. I'm going to try something. I'm going to cut it maybe 2 inches down. Yeah, I'm just kind of experimenting. And then if I would take that up, and so when you pull this up, I was thinking to make a pocket like this. Like a little diagonal fold here. Yeah, that's kind of cute, isn't it? So then you'd have a little pocket here. And the reason why I cut that, because if you would do it here, you would have this white space, you know. So that's why I cut it. And if you wanted to, you could go like this, and you could have the pocket on the side like we did before. Okay, so just a couple little ideas, and then this could be opened up like this, and you could journal there too. So just thought I'd show you what I've got together, and then next we will continue on to part 2. Thanks for watching. See you next time.